It all began 1 week ago, July 3rd, 2024, when I left our home in Sidney for about a 3-hour drive to Nanoose Bay on the eastern shore of Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Purpose of the trip is to do some projects on Maudie in preparation for us getting underway in the fall. Once I arrived and got parked, I got right to work. No moss on this guy. Up the ladder in no time. First project, take off the old skylight, install a new one. Piece of cake, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stripping this old sealant off. I'm going to sit on my butt so I don't fall off the roof, and it's going to be a long process. So I'll come back to you a little bit later. Okay, my work is slow, and my work is poor. Okay, well that sounds just fine, but let's get something straight. I am not one of these methodical, structured people like you see on YouTube who have all their tools laid out and they have this thing nailed about how they're going to do it and it's going to just be perfect. No, I sat there on my butt for hours scraping this old crap off, getting really frustrated. It's like 30 degrees on the roof. That's Celsius. What's that? Like that's in the high 80s Fahrenheit. I'm sweltering and I'm getting so frustrated that I just ripped that sucker right off, including the screws, pulling them right out of the membrane. We did it. Well, now the messy part. Hello, shower. So, after this first hopeless conquest, what do you think I do? I quit. Too hot. I'm going home. I'm going to take a break for a few days until this heat spell quits. That's it. I'm out of here. You know, and for a Canadian to say that we're too hot is really something. You know, the land of hockey sticks? Everyone grew up with a hockey stick in their hands. Which, by the way, look at this hockey stick. This is on the way to Nanoose Bay, largest hockey stick in the world. I don't care anymore. We're just out of here. Let's take a break. I'll take you back to Victoria, back to Sidney. We'll take a tour and I'll show you some nice places along the way as I sit in the air-conditioned comfort of Lola, the little Fiat 500. Before we head down island towards Sidney, let's take a quick tour through Rathtrevor Provincial Park, which is only minutes away from where Maudie's parked. It's absolutely beautiful. As we head south on Vancouver Island towards Victoria and Sidney, about 50 kilometers south of Nanoose Bay, so say 30 miles, is a lovely little town called Ladysmith. Now, we passed through this place on our way north, but we skirted it because I traveled along the main highway along the base of the town. Today, let's just branch up into the main town site to see what it looks like. The town sits on the 49th parallel, has about 9,000 residents, really rich in history. The town's history dates back to the 1800s, kind of the late 1800s, when there was a lot of coal mining being done on Vancouver Island, especially just a little bit south of Nanaimo. And around 1898, I think it was, Ladysmith was set up as kind of a bedroom community to service the mines around the Nanaimo area. So people lived in Ladysmith and traveled the short distance up to the mining communities around the Nanaimo area. A lot of the old homes are still here. The history of the town it just comes out as you drive through. It's just a beautiful, well-kept place. The townspeople are obviously very proud of it. And it has the most amazing bakery you could ever imagine, which was closed when I went to get my cinnamon buns. Heading further south along the Island Highway, our next little hidden gem is the small town of Chemainus. It's only about 13 kilometers south of Ladysmith, which was our last stop, so that's about 8 miles, and it's only about a kilometer and a half, so say a mile, off the Island Highway along the eastern shore of Vancouver Island. Population of about 4,000 people. It was formed around the mid-1800s as a logging town, and it performed really well until about 1980 when their large sawmill closed. And in response, the town banded together like you wouldn't believe, and they commissioned a series of outdoor murals. They're everywhere. As you drive around town, you can't help but see one of these murals. They're so well done. The town has become quite famous for it. They have a festival, a theater festival. They have all sorts of activities, busloads of people coming into this town. This little town that really did something. It's a wonderful place to visit. You just got to come here if you're on Vancouver Island. Let's go have a look around. Almost home, but we have to get across this inlet. Let's take a British Columbia ferry. It's part of the highway system. I hope you enjoy the trip. Hello. Thanks a lot. Thanks. You all right? You bet. Good. Thanks. Okay, I know and you know that I have to return to Nanoose Bay to finish off that skylight. This hiatus can't last forever, but how about this? A couple of days to beat this heat wave, and then I'll return. We'll install that skylight in a really unusual way. It's just going to blow your mind. I'm not doing it in the traditional RV way of installing a skylight. No siree, Bob. You're going to love this. See you next week. Thanks for watching.